You feel invincible when you're holding the Sony Alpha 1 because it's like no photograph or video clip is impossible. Sony made the best possible machine to start the first year of brand new decade. 2020 doesn't count. $50 megapixel, 30 frames per second, 8K video, 4K 120p. These specifications sound like they are taken from a few different cameras, but no. Sony fixed them all in one body, Alpha 1, or we just call it the Sony A1. As for the camera spec of 8K video sample, there are already many pieces of good content on YouTube. So here, I will be condensing all those down to the 5 key factors. Why the A1 set a new standard for the next-gen flagship mirrorless. Let's get started. Raw speed, and I don't mean it figuratively. Electronic shutter, raw video shooting, 30 frames per second, no blackout on the viewfinder. And if you would like to find out how Jayz did a video based on photo mode, here's a link. The electronic shutter, you hardly find any weird jelly effects due to its extreme fast readout. It's a beast to use. Mechanical shutter is better this time. Being made from carbon fiber is one thing. The spring action gets us the feel of machine gun. Recoil effect is strong. It reminds me a lot of that Canon 1D flagship experience. Very satisfying to fire up. The fresh synchronization speed get a major breakthrough, 1/400 mechanical and 1/200 electronic. For photographers that shoot studio portrait, shutter up to 1/400 is unheard of. This means you can push a shorter exposure time before having to resolve a high-speed sync, which will come at the expense of your fresh output. If you have a stroke fast enough to keep up with the A1, it can be a lot of fun. Just like this random photo shoot with Z and his cat, who simply wouldn't stay still. Yeah, 1, 2, go! The autofocus on the A1 fall under the just of none. If anything, it is what other AF systems are just against. This time, not only human and animal eyes get tracked, they have diversified by adding another subject spatialization, birds. I'm not any bird photographer, so I come to a very easy way, KL bird part, to just get the bird shot and bird's eye autofocus to show you guys how it's performed. Woo! Look at that! Woo! Come, try to get close. Hey, say hi. Whoa! Majestic! Can you got that on camera?
Yep.
That's how easy to get bird in KL bird part. Inside KL part, the birds are just feet away from you, so I didn't manage to get my 600G master in action. The most I can only use the 400GM. To show you how effective the bird eye autofocus is, I recorded my screen on an Adomus Ninja 5, so you can see what I'm seeing. We found a big bird. Let's see the eye autofocus working or not. Yeah, you see? Yeah, it's that word. Oh, finally we're done. And I should start show my respect to all the bird photographers. It's really not easy, and even though I'm in this optimal situation, you know, bird part, I still find very difficult to shoot, and A1 is eating up the storage like crazy when you shoot raw project back. It's only get 1000 plus a little bit, and it's shooting in this CF Express Type A 80 gig. Whew, but it's fun, it's fun. Now, if speed and speed alone define a flagship, then the A9 will still be comfortable in that seat. But the A1 have an ace that would typically be associated with the opposite of speed: high resolution, 50.1 megapixel. I shouldn't have to explain why having a high resolution might be something desirable. Cropping, framing, printing, you know the rest. If you are not satisfied by the 50.1 megapixels and you thirst for more color dot in your image, otherwise known as pixels, A1 does have pixel shift, quadrupling your pixels count just over 200 millions. Just when you think the A1 got enough, it's also got the soul of an A7S III when you dial into video mode. It does everything the A7S III can do at 4K or that 120p stuff, but it's bring along something nobody asked for: 8K. The 8K of A1 is a super sample from 8.6K, which means not only is 8K, it's a sharper version of 8K. How many 8K I have to say? We always love to use the term beast or monster to describe a highly powerful camera, but this time, this is a real monster hiding inside a shell of an A7. So discreet, such a familiar face, yet astonishingly omnipotent. This is a camera for those who have no concern regarding budget and have no time to dilly-dally trying to decide between cameras, weighing their pros and cons. If you just want the very best, the creme de la creme, this is it. Sony have built a mold for the flagship camera of next gen. Now we should really be looking forward to what Sony's next Element 3 camera will be, the A7 Mark IV. It shouldn't be far from now. If you like more videos just like this, subscribe, like and comment saying what you would like to see more of. Your support keeps our channel alive. Thank you and see you in the next video. Every time I say this, I want a new camera. Now I want this.
Alpha.
This is not for 8. You can't eat a Myvi here. No, more than a Myvi. You can't eat a car here. See? This is not for you. Nope. Nope. No, no. No, no.